excretory products and their elimination. So excretory products and their elimination, these are the nitrogenous waste like urea, uric, ammonia. So these are the nitrogenous waste that's excreted throughout our body through the animal's body. So we have the kidneys in section that is human excretory system. Excretory system. We have the human urinary system. Okay, we have the human urinary system. There is a kidney. We have the kidney. We have the pairs of kidney. Inside the kidney, there is a part that is cortex and medulla. There is a part that is cortex and medulla. Inside the medulla, there is a pelvis region, right? There is a pelvis region. So we're going to see the the medulla, the medulla portion inside the kidney. The medulla is divided into a few conical muscles. These are the medullary pyramid projecting into the calyxes. Calyces. These medullary pyramids. These are the masses. They projected into calyces. Calyces, it's kind of cavity. The calyces. Now the cortex which is the outer portion of the kidney. The cortex extends in between the medullary pyramids, in between the masses, in between medullary pyramids as renal columns called columns of Bertini. So what are the columns of Bertini? These are the extended portion of the cortex in between the medullary pyramids as renal columns. So these are the columns of Bertini. Okay, we have discussed 2 points. The medulla, which is an inner part of the kidney, is divided into few conical masses. These conical masses are medullary pyramids projected into calyces. The second point, the cortex that extends in between the medullary pyramids as renal columns are called columns of Bertini. We all know that nephrons are functional units. Okay, as you see in the diagram, we have just discussed the columns of Bertini. Longitudinal section diagrammatic of kidney. In kidney, the outer part is cortex, the inner part is medulla. Now the medulla is divided into few conical masses. These are the medullary pyramids. See in the diagram 18.16.2 these medullary pyramids. And we have seen the columns of Bertini. These are the cortex that extends in between these medullary pyramids. These masses of medullary pyramids, the conical masses, as renal columns. These are the columns of Bertini. As you see, these renal columns in between these medullary pyramids seen in the diagram. These are the columns of Bertini. The cortex in between these medullary pyramids as renal columns. These are the columns of Bertini. The outer part is the cortex, the inner part was the medulla, and medulla is divided into few conical masses. Okay, and these medullary pyramids into projected into the calyces and then to the pelvis portion. So this is the structure of the inside kidney, that is outer to inside, cortex then medulla. Okay, so this was it. We have discussed the 2 points. We have seen the medulla, We have seen the columns of Bertini, and we have seen the diagram. Nephrons, these are the functional unit of kidney. As you see, there is an PCT, that is proximal convoluted tubule. Henle's loop having the descending limb of loop of Henle, that is downward. D for descending, D for downward, A for ascending, it's upward. There is an vasa recta, which is a fine capillary of a fine capillary. This is vasa recta. You have seen in the diagram that is afferent arteriole, which type of artery, and E for efferent, that is existing, which exists, okay, which lives. So this is efferent arteriole. There is an glomerulus, that is tuft of capillaries inside the Bowman's capsule, and this Bowman capsule leads to the PCT, that is proximal convoluted tubule. Then Henle's loop, that is descending limb of loop of Henle, that is downward. Then the ascending limb of loop of Henle, that is upward. And vasa recta just meshes over all these tubules, right? Then the distal convoluted tubule, that is the DCT, and then the collecting duct. So this is a overall view of nephron, which is a functional unit of kidneys. Let's talk about the juxtamedullary nephron, cortical nephron, important things. So what is juxtamedullary nephrons? Two types of nephrons. Okay, starting from the paragraph. The Malpighian corpuscle. Okay, Malpighian body and renal corpuscle, these are the same word. It is made up of Bowman's and glomerulus, which is a tuft of capillaries. So this is a Malpighian body, that is a renal corpuscle. So Malpighian corpuscle, PCT and DCT of the nephron are situated in the cortical region of the kidney, whereas the loop of Henle dips into the medulla. So loop of Henle dips into the medulla, but Malpighian corpuscle, PCT and DCT are present in the cortical region. The majority of nephrons, the loop of Henle is too short and extends only very little into the medulla. So this is a cortical nephron, which are the majority of nephrons, in which loop of Henle is too short. If the loop of Henle is too short, then it will not extend very much into the medulla, which is an inner portion of the kidney. Such nephrons are called cortical nephrons because the loop of Henle is mostly in the cortical region, which is an outer portion of the kidney. Okay. In some of the nephrons, the loop of Henle is very long and runs deep into the medulla. Because the loop of Henle is very long, now it reaches to the inner part of the kidney, which is medulla, and these nephrons are called juxtamedullary nephrons. Juxta, that is deep into the medulla, because the loop of Henle is very long, but in cortical nephrons, the loop of Henle is too short and this is why it not extends into the medulla. It's very little into the medulla. So cortical nephrons, these are the majority of nephrons. Juxta nephrons, these are some nephrons. Okay, so this was it. Now we have seen cortical nephrons and juxtamedullary nephrons. What are these nephrons? How loop of Henle difference in them. Now we have seen Marpesian body, we have seen PCT, we have seen DCT. Now we are going to see what is vasa recta. Vasa recta is an U-shaped. Vasa recta arising from efferent arteriole. There are two arteriole, the afferent arteriole and efferent arteriole. The afferent arteriole that goes down into the glomerulus capillaris. Efferent arterioles that leaves the glomerular capillaries. The efferent arteriole emerging from the glomerulus forms a fine capillary network around the renal tubule called the peritubular capillaries. Renal tubule, there are PCT, there are DCT. These are the renal tubules. Now these efferent arteriole which makes a fine capillary network, and this is a peritubular capillaries around these renal tubules like PCT, Henle's loop, DCT. Now a minute vessel of this network, which network? This peritubular capillary network runs parallel to the Henle's loop and forming a U-shaped vasa recta. It means a capillary that runs parallel to the Henle's loop forms a vasa recta, which is a U-shaped. Vasa recta is absent or highly reduced in cortical nephrons. We have seen that in cortical nephrons, the loop of Henle is very short. If the loop of Henle is very short, you can say that vasa recta can be short or might be absent. So this is why vasa recta is absent or highly reduced in cortical nephrons. So these are the two types of nephrons we have discussed. Majority of them are cortical nephrons. In some are juxtamedullary nephrons. We have also seen the U-shaped vasa recta that runs parallel to the Henle's loop, arising from the peritubular capillaries that surrounds the renal tubule. These renal tubules are PCT and DCT, emerging from the efferent arteriole. We have seen this figure as well. This 16.4. Malpighian body as renal corpuscle is formed of afferent arteriole, glomerulus, efferent arteriole, and Bowman's structure. So in this, we have seen what is medulla, what is cortical, what is vasa recta, cortical nephrons, and juxtamedullary nephrons.